As a freelance architectural designer, I'd recently started streaming my work process to build my online portfolio. The setup was simple. A high-quality camera mounted above my drafting table, capturing my detailed sketches and 3D modeling work. My subscribers, mostly architecture students and fellow designers, seemed to appreciate watching my creative process. That Tuesday seemed ordinary enough. The morning light filtered through my home office window as I adjusted the camera angle, making sure it perfectly captured my workspace. The red recording light blinked steadily as I started the stream, planning to showcase my latest project, a sustainable housing development that could have been my big break. Then my phone buzzed. A text from my biggest potential client. Emergency meeting. Downtown. 30 minutes. In my rush to gather my portfolio and presentation materials, I made a mistake that would change my life forever. I forgot to end the stream. The meeting dragged on for 3 hours. When I finally returned home, I expected to find an empty feed, maybe a few confused comments from my regular viewers. Instead, my screen was flooded with activity. The viewer count had exploded from my usual dozen to over 3,000. My heart pounded as I scrolled through the chat. Is this really happening? Someone needs to record this. Don't anyone dare tell them the stream is still on. This is heartbreaking to watch. With trembling fingers, I clicked back through the stream timeline. The first 2 hours showed only my empty office, the gentle whir of my ceiling fan creating white noise in the background. Then the door opened. I recognized her perfume before she even came into frame. The expensive one I'd given Katia for our anniversary last month. She wasn't alone. James, her boss, followed her into my office, his hand resting casually on the small of her back in a way that made my stomach lurch. No, I whispered to my screen. This has to be a mistake. But there was no mistake in the way they moved together, the practiced ease of their intimacy. They settled at my desk, just barely visible at the edge of the frame. What started as casual conversation quickly turned into something else entirely. Their voices were low, intimate, punctuated by quiet laughter and long pauses that spoke volumes. The timestamp showed they stayed for 45 minutes. 45 minutes in which my world crumbled, broadcast live to thousands of strangers who watched in collective silence. The chat had slowed to a trickle of shocked emojis and messages of support. Stay strong, brother. Document everything. Don't confront them yet. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Katia. Working late tonight. Don't wait up. Love you. I stared at those 3 words, love you, until they blurred on the screen. The lie felt like acid in my throat. 7 years of marriage, countless moments I thought were real, all undone by 45 minutes of unintentional surveillance. The stream was still running, the viewer count now approaching 5,000. My hands hovered over the keyboard, ready to end the broadcast. But something stopped me. In my line of work, I'd learned that every design begins with a blueprint. Every project requires careful planning. As the numbness of shock gave way to a cold clarity, I realized this accidental broadcast wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. I had access to systems I'd installed myself. Our home security cameras, the hotel where I'd redesigned their conference spaces last year, even Katia's cloud backup that synced automatically to our shared home network. She and James thought technology would help keep their secret. They had no idea it was about to expose every detail of their betrayal to the world. My cursor moved away from the end stream button. Instead, I opened my project planning software, the same one I used to design multimillion-dollar buildings. But this time, I was drafting something very different. A blueprint for the most elaborate revelation my viewers would ever witness. The chat erupted when I shared my next move with the viewers. I have access to more cameras, I typed, my fingers trembling slightly on the keyboard. The Meridian Hotel security system. I'd redesigned their entire network just last year during the renovation. They still used my admin credentials for troubleshooting. I hesitated for just a moment. What I was about to do existed in a moral gray area, but then again, so did using my home office for secret rendezvous. The viewers waited, their messages a blur of encouragement and anticipation. Opening the hotel's security network felt like muscle memory. During the renovation, I'd installed cameras in all the public areas, the lobby, hallways, elevator banks, and the upscale restaurant on the top floor. I knew their patterns now, thanks to months of security footage from my home. Every Tuesday and Thursday when I had my regular client meetings, the lobby camera activated first. 3:47 p.m. Right on schedule, Katia walked through the revolving doors, her red dress a splash of color against the marble floors. She'd worn that dress to my sister's wedding. 2 minutes later, James arrived separately, his corporate mask firmly in place as he nodded to the front desk staff. They never entered the elevator together. Always separate, always 3 minutes apart. Always to the 12th floor, where the extended stay suites were located. The ones with kitchenettes and living rooms, designed for business travelers looking for a home away from home. The stream's viewer count hit 10,000. Watch this, I typed in the chat. Then I switched to the 12th floor hallway camera. The timestamp showed 3:52 p.m. Katia emerged from the elevator, checking her phone. Probably the same message she'd sent me about working late. She walked to room 1214, producing a key card from her purse. The same room, I noticed. They always used the same room. 3:55 p.m. James took the same path, straightening his tie before using his own key card. The door opened and closed. 10,000 people watched in silence. My hands shook as I opened another window on my laptop. The hotel's billing system. Room 1214 had been booked every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 4 months. Not under James's name, of course. Not under Katia's either. The reservations were made through his company's corporate account, buried in the mundane paperwork of business travel and client meetings. The chat exploded. Check the restaurant cameras. There has to be more evidence. Don't stop now. They were right. This was just the beginning. I pulled up the footage from the Vista, the hotel's rooftop restaurant. Every Thursday evening, like clockwork, they had dinner there. Not today. Today was Tuesday. But I had weeks of recordings saved. Last Thursday's footage showed them at their usual corner table, the one with the city view. James ordered expensive wine. Katia laughed at his jokes. They played their parts perfectly, the successful executive mentoring his promising employee. But the cameras caught what other diners missed. The brush of hands during wine service, the way their feet touched under the table, the lingering looks that spoke volumes. I downloaded everything, the hotel records, the restaurant footage, the elevator timestamps. Each file was another piece of evidence, another nail in the coffin of my marriage. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. The viewers were invested now, offering suggestions, sharing their own stories of betrayal. Some urged me to confront them immediately. Others counseled patience, strategy. One comment caught my eye. Check their public social media. People get careless. I smiled grimly. They had no idea what I was about to uncover. Because while the hotel cameras showed their present, I had something that would expose their past and destroy their future. Access to every email, every message, every photo they thought was safely hidden in their deleted folders. The stream's chat fell silent as I typed, "Want to see what they've been hiding on their work laptops?" 15,000 people waited for my next move, unaware that this revelation would set in motion a chain of events that would not only expose their affair, but unravel the elaborate web of lies they'd woven through every aspect of our lives. I took a deep breath and opened the first email thread. What I found made the hotel footage look tame in comparison. But that evidence, the emails, the photos, the devastating paper trail of their betrayal, would have to wait. Because at that moment, my phone buzzed with another message from Katia. "Missing you. Can't wait for our anniversary dinner tomorrow night. I have a surprise for you. Tomorrow night. Our anniversary." I leaned back in my chair, a plan forming in my mind. They thought they were so clever, so careful with their secrets. But they'd forgotten one crucial detail. In the digital age, every secret leaves a trail. And I was about to turn their own digital footprints into a path of destruction. The real surprise would be mine. And thanks to my growing audience of witnesses, their exposure would be absolutely spectacular. The stream had become my window into their secret world. But now it was time to let them know they were being watched. Not directly, not yet. First, I would make them feel the weight of their own paranoia. I created a new Instagram account at truth_seeker_12. Generic enough to be anyone, specific enough to be unsettling. The viewers watched, their anticipation building, as I crafted my first message. It was a comment on one of Kadia's recent posts, a selfie taken at the Vista restaurant, the hotel's rooftop venue. She was alone in the photo, but I knew James had taken it. The security footage proved that. Beautiful view from table 12, I wrote, especially on Thursdays. The comment appeared among dozens of others, but I saw her notice it. She liked it, then quickly unliked it. Within minutes, the post was deleted entirely. The stream chat exploded. She's panicking. Do the work laptop emails next. This is better than any thriller I've ever watched. I waited exactly 1 hour before the next move. A new comment, this time on James's LinkedIn post about corporate loyalty and trust. The irony was almost too perfect. Interesting thoughts on trust. Room 1214 has seen plenty of business discussions, hasn't it? 20,000 viewers watched as James's online status on LinkedIn suddenly went active. The post vanished within seconds. But the internet never forgets. I had screenshots of everything, and the stream viewers had taken their own. Then came the emails. Not the explicit ones, those would come later. Instead, I started with the mundane, forwarded meeting notifications, innocent-looking lunch appointments, calendar invites for project reviews. Hundreds of them spanning months. I compiled them into a timeline and posted it anonymously on the company's internal review board. Has anyone noticed these patterns? The response was immediate. Kadia called James. I could see her number flash up on our shared phone plan's activity log, which I displayed on stream. The call lasted 12 minutes. Immediately after, she began deleting emails, unaware that I had already archived everything. The viewers were captivated, offering suggestions I hadn't even considered. Check the hotel's Instagram location tags. Look for review comments from other guests. Search their names on Rate My Employer sites. Each suggestion opened new avenues of investigation. The hotel's location tags revealed dozens of background appearances. Kadia's red dress glimpsed in a tourist's lobby photo, James's reflection in a business dinner selfie. Small details that meant nothing in isolation, but together painted a damning picture. I created more accounts, each one dropping subtle hints. A comment on her fitness instructor's page. Interesting that you never miss Thursday sessions, but Tuesday workouts are always canceled. A review of the hotel restaurant. Great for business meetings. Table 12 seems especially popular with regular guests. A response to James's company blog post. Your views on work-life balance are fascinating. How do you manage all those late-night strategy sessions? The stream viewers became my research team, spotting patterns I had missed. One noticed that Kadia's lunch expense reports never included Thursdays. Another found James's car in the background of a real estate listing, parked outside our house on a day he was supposedly out of town. But the masterstroke came from the hotel's own security logs. Every key card swipe, every elevator call, every restaurant reservation. It all created a digital paper trail. I compiled the data into an innocuous-looking spreadsheet and accidentally emailed it to the hotel's entire management team from an IT maintenance account. Quarterly security audit. Please review access patterns for identified rooms and notify if any irregularities are found. The stream chat went wild as viewers realized what I'd done. The hotel management would have to investigate. It was a liability issue now. James's corporate account would be flagged. Questions would be asked. Kadia's phone buzzed again. A text from James. We need to talk. Not on the phone. I smiled at the camera, knowing that 25,000 people were smiling with me. Because while they scrambled to contain their unraveling secrets, I had one more card to play. Opening my email, I began composing a message to Kadia. Can't wait for our anniversary dinner tomorrow. I've planned something special. Invited a few friends to celebrate with us. The real surprise? Those friends would include every person who had received my anonymous breadcrumbs over the past few hours. the hotel manager, her fitness instructor, James's corporate accounting team, all gathered to witness what would happen when digital secrets spilled into the real world. But first, I had one more anonymous comment to leave, this time on her most recent Facebook post about living your truth and following your heart. The truth always comes out, I wrote. Sometimes it just needs the right audience. The stage was set. The players were in position. And tomorrow night, 25,000 people would watch as their carefully constructed lies collapsed like a house of cards. The anniversary dinner was set for 7 p.m. at La Maison, the city's most exclusive French restaurant. I'd made the reservation months ago, long before I knew what kind of anniversary it would really be. 30,000 viewers waited with me as I adjusted the camera on my lapel. Small, discreet, but broadcasting in perfect HD quality. Testing, testing, I murmured, watching the stream quality. Can everyone see clearly? The chat confirmed they could. They could also see the private dining room I'd reserved, now set up with multiple hidden cameras. Each table setting had a small envelope. Each envelope contained different pieces of evidence, curated specifically for each guest. 6:45 p.m. The first guests arrived. The hotel manager, looking nervous but professional. James's accounting team, clutching folders of corporate expense reports. Kadia's fitness instructor, who had more to share than just canceled Tuesday appointments. They all thought this was a corporate ethics meeting. None of them knew they were about to become part of something much bigger. 6:55 p.m. My phone buzzed. A text from Kadia. Stuck in traffic. Be there in 10. Can't wait to see you. I smiled at the camera. She still thinks she's the one with the surprise, I told my viewers, because I knew her real plans. The email trail had revealed everything. After dinner, she and James were planning to tell me about their business opportunity in another city. A fresh start, they called it. They would have convinced me to invest everything I had into their venture. Then, once the money was transferred, they would disappear together. 7:10 p.m. The restaurant's front security camera showed Kadia arriving. She looked stunning in a new black dress, probably bought with the credit card I paid for. She checked her makeup in her compact mirror, unaware that she was already live on camera. Places, everyone, I announced quietly to the room. The guests shifted uncomfortably, still unsure why they were there. The stream chat was moving so fast it was almost unreadable. The maitre d' led her to our private room. I stood at the head of the table, camera in hand, now obviously recording. Her smile faltered for just a moment when she saw the other guests. Surprise, I said softly, gesturing to the chair at the opposite end of the table. Please sit. We have so much to celebrate. What's going on? Her voice wavered slightly. Who are all these people? Oh, just some friends who've been dying to meet you properly. Like Marcus here. I nodded to the hotel manager, who has some fascinating data about room 1214. The color drained from her face as I continued. And Sarah from corporate accounting, who's been reviewing some interesting expense patterns. And of course, Tom from IT security, who recovered all those deleted emails about your, what did you call it? Your fresh start plan. Her hand trembled as she reached for her phone. I should call James. James? I smiled, turning my camera to face her directly. Oh, he's already watching. Aren't you, James? Along with about 40,000 other people. I turned my laptop around, showing her the live stream chat. Her eyes widened as she saw the viewer count, the scrolling comments, the clips of hotel footage already being shared across social media. You didn't think I'd forget to record our anniversary, did you? I asked, my voice steady despite the thunder of my heart. After all, you two put on such a compelling show. Every Tuesday and Thursday, like clockwork. The envelope in front of her contained printouts of her own emails to James. Their plans, their lies, their schemes to take everything I had. But we weren't up to that revelation yet. First, each guest would share what they had discovered. Each piece of evidence would build upon the last, creating an undeniable picture of betrayal that was being broadcast to the world. The hotel manager cleared his throat, opening his folder. The fitness instructor gripped her phone, ready to play the incriminating voicemails. The accounting team exchanged knowing looks as they prepared to present their findings. And through it all, my camera kept rolling, capturing every micro-expression that crossed Kadia's face as her carefully constructed world began to crumble. "Let's start with the evidence," I said, nodding to Marcus, the hotel manager. "Marcus, tell everyone what you discovered about room 1214. Marcus cleared his throat, clearly uncomfortable but professional. Over the past 6 months, room 1214 was booked every Tuesday and Thursday through a corporate account. The security logs show consistent patterns. Those were business meetings. Kadia interrupted, her voice sharp. "This is ridiculous. Business meetings that required a king-size bed and champagne service?" Marcus continued, pulling out detailed receipts. "With both key cards accessing the room within minutes of each other, staying for exactly 2 hours, then leaving separately?" Kadia's face flushed red. "You had no right to spy on me." "Actually," Sarah from accounting interjected, opening her laptop, "these business meetings were billed as client entertainment. But there's no record of any clients present. Just 2 room service meals, always charged to the corporate card. Mr. Reynolds, would you like to see the expense patterns I found?" I nodded, watching Kadia's composure crack further as Sarah projected a spreadsheet onto the wall. "Note the matching charges at nearby jewelry stores," Sarah continued. "Gifts labeled as client appreciation items but delivered to Ms. Kadia's office. Those were legitimate business expenses." Kadia's voice rose. "James approved all of them." "Of course he did." Tom from IT security spoke up, his own folder thick with evidence. "Just like he approved the creation of a shell company last month. Would you like to explain New Horizons Consulting, Kadia? The one you and James registered with plans to transfer company funds." The stream chat exploded as Tom revealed emails outlining their scheme. 45,000 viewers watched Kadia's face cycle through shock, anger, and fear. But Lisa, her fitness instructor, delivered the most personal blow. "You always canceled Tuesday sessions claiming work emergencies," she said quietly. "But my studio is right across from the hotel. I saw you and James together so many times, I started taking photos." She slid her phone across the table, showing time-stamped pictures of their not-so-discreet meetings. "You were my friend," Kadia spat at Lisa. "How could you?" "Friends don't lie to friends," Lisa replied firmly. "And they don't help married men cheat on their wives." This caught everyone's attention. "What do you mean?" I asked, though I already knew. "James is married," Lisa revealed. "His wife Claire is also my client. She's been suspicious for months." Right on cue, the door opened, and Claire walked in, her own evidence folder in hand. Kadia's face went pale. "Hello, Kadia," Claire said calmly. "I believe you've been spending quite a lot of time with my husband." The room erupted in overlapping voices. Kadia trying to defend herself, Claire revealing her own investigation findings, the hotel manager detailing more compromising security footage, the accounting team exposing the money trail, Tom unveiling their plans to steal company funds, Lisa sharing more photographic evidence. And through it all, my camera kept rolling, capturing every moment of Kadia's exposure, while the stream chat witnessed her web of lies unraveling in real time. "But we're not done yet," I said, holding up my own envelope. "We haven't even gotten to the private investigator's report, or the offshore account you opened last week, or your intimate messages planning your escape." Kadia's eyes darted to the door, but she knew it was too late. Her phone buzzed James, probably warning her that the stream had gone viral. Their perfectly planned deception was now being watched by 50,000 people and counting. The stream chat exploded with anticipation. They knew, as I did, that this was only the beginning of Kadia's very public unraveling. And somewhere across town, James was watching too, knowing his turn was coming. "What is this?" Kadia asked, her voice barely a whisper as she stared at her phone. Social media notifications were flooding in, friends, family, colleagues, all sharing clips from the live stream. "This," I said, standing to adjust the main camera, is what the whole world is watching. Your performance has quite an audience. Claire, James's wife, stepped forward with her own revelation. Would you like to explain these? She spread dozens of photos across the table. Not just hotel meetings, but intimate moments Katia thought were private. My private investigator was quite thorough. He followed you for months. You had no right. Katia's voice cracked. This is invasion of privacy. Privacy. Tom from IT laughed coldly. Like the privacy of this email? He projected a message onto the wall. From Katia to James. Subject: final plans. Once he invests everything in our startup, we'll transfer the funds offshore. He trusts me completely. He'll never see it coming. 2 more weeks, my love, and we'll be free. The stream chat exploded with outrage. 60,000 viewers watched Katia's face crumple as her schemes were exposed one by one. Or perhaps we should discuss this conversation? Sarah from accounting pulled up a recorded phone call. Katia's voice filled the room. James, darling, he's such a fool. He's planning some big anniversary surprise. Don't worry. Once we have his money, he can celebrate alone. The hotel manager stepped forward next. We have footage of you accessing the hotel's executive lounge using forged credentials. He played a clip showing Katia using a copied keycard, signing charges to other guests' rooms. Those were business expenses. Katia protested weakly. Like these. Claire produced bank statements. Joint accounts you opened with my husband? Property listings you viewed together? The engagement ring he bought you last week. The room fell silent. My camera caught every micro-expression crossing Katia's face. Engagement ring? I asked quietly. Oh yes, Claire smiled grimly. They were planning quite a future together. Show them your hand, Katia. Katia instinctively covered her right hand, where a tan line showed she'd recently removed a ring. Lisa, the fitness instructor, spoke up. That's why you kept taking off your wedding ring at the gym. You were wearing his ring instead. The live stream comments were coming so fast they blurred. She was engaged while married. Check her other hand. The tan line proves everything. Katia's phone buzzed again. James trying to call. But he was already finished at his own company. The stream had gone viral in their corporate offices. Speaking of James, Tom continued, should we discuss the fake identities you created together? The passports? The plan to disappear with company funds. I opened my laptop, displaying travel itineraries. Bali, wasn't it? Non-extradition country. Clever. You don't understand, Katia pleaded, looking around desperately. James and I are in love. Love. Claire's laugh was bitter. Is that what you call this? She played a video on her phone, James with another woman, taken just yesterday. He's been playing you both. Katia's face went ash white. That's not. He wouldn't. Oh, but he would, Sarah interjected. The company's investigating multiple affairs. You weren't special, Katia. You were just the latest in a long line. The stream hit 70,000 viewers as Katia's perfect world shattered piece by piece. Her phone kept buzzing with notifications. Her company announcing an internal investigation. Friends unfriending her en masse. Family members expressing their disgust. The hotel's corporate office launching a fraud inquiry. News outlets requesting comments. Would you like to see what else we have? I asked softly, reaching for the final envelope. We haven't even gotten to the good part yet. Katia's phone vibrated constantly now. Each notification another thread of her life unraveling. With trembling hands, she opened her messages, and the room watched as her face crumpled. First came the email from HR. Due to evidence of corporate fraud and misuse of company resources, your employment is terminated effective immediately. Then the flood of personal messages. I can't believe you came to my wedding while cheating on your own husband. You sat at my dinner table, pretending to be the perfect couple. My children called you Aunt Katia. How could you? The stream chat watched her scroll through message after message. 80,000 people witnessing her social death in real time. Perhaps we should share what your mother just texted? I suggested quietly, nodding to the projection screen. Her mother's message appeared. I defended you when people said you married him for money. I swore you loved him. You've humiliated our entire family. Kadia's tears started falling, but I wasn't finished. Or maybe we should discuss what you told my sister at her baby shower. I played an audio recording from my phone, Kadia's voice crystal clear. Of course I love him. He's my safe option. Once James and I execute our plan, I'll never have to pretend again. You recorded me? She whispered, mascara running. No, actually. Your best friend Angela recorded you. She's been suspicious for months. I nodded to the door as Angela walked in, carrying a thick folder. 7 years of friendship, Angela said, her voice tight. 7 years of covering for you, believing your lies. Until I saw this. She threw down photographs, Kadia and James at Angela's beach house. During weekends when Kadia claimed to be visiting her sick aunt. Angela, please, Kadia pleaded. I can explain. Explain what? Angela cut her off. How you used my property for your affair. Or how you planned to frame me for the missing company funds. The room went silent. Tom from IT pulled up another email chain. If anything goes wrong, we'll say Angela helped us. She has access to the accounts. Kadia's phone buzzed again, her younger sister this time, live-streaming her own reaction. My big sister, my role model, nothing but a common thief and cheater. The notifications kept coming. Her gym membership revoked for fraudulent billing. Her charity board position suspended pending investigation. Her social clubs dropping her from their rosters. Her church asking her not to attend services. Claire stepped forward again, holding up her phone. Would you like to see what James is doing right now? The screen showed James at a bar with yet another woman. He moved on quickly, didn't he? Kadia's carefully constructed world was crumbling in front of 90,000 viewers. Every relationship, every friendship, every professional connection, all poisoned by her own actions. But we haven't even gotten to the pregnancy test yet, I said softly, watching her head snap up in shock. The one you took last week in the hotel bathroom. The one you texted James about, planning to claim it was mine. The stream chat erupted. Kadia's phone slipped from her numb fingers, clattering on the table as more messages poured in. Her doctor dropping her as a patient for insurance fraud. Her therapist canceling their sessions for ethical concerns. Her nephew uninviting her from his graduation. Her investment club freezing her accounts. Through her tears, she reached for her last lifeline, her phone's speed dial to James. But before she could press it, his face appeared on the projection screen, live from another security camera. Should we tell her what James is doing at the bank right now? Tom asked, pulling up real-time footage. Emptying their secret accounts? Or should we wait for part 7 of our evidence? I reached into my jacket and pulled out a thick envelope, letting it fall onto the table with a heavy thud. The stream chat, now at over 100,000 viewers, went silent with anticipation. You know what today was supposed to be? I asked quietly, watching Kadia try to compose herself. Today wasn't just our anniversary. It was the day I was going to give you your dream. Opening the envelope, I spread out glossy photos of a beachfront villa in the Maldives. Professional real estate shots showed crystalline waters, private infinity pools, and sunsets that seemed almost too perfect to be real. Villa number 17 at the Royal Ocean Resort, I said, my voice steady. The exact one you've had as your phone's background for the past 2 years. The one you showed me in every travel magazine, every vacation website. Kadia's tears stopped as she stared at the photos. Her hands trembled as she reached for them. I bought it 3 months ago, I continued, laying down the property deed. Spent every evening for 6 months working extra projects to afford it. Remember all those late nights you thought I was just being a workaholic? The stream chat exploded with comments as I pulled out more documents. The villa's custom renovation plans, incorporating every detail she'd ever mentioned. First-class plane tickets for what was supposed to be a surprise trip tomorrow. reservations for her favorite restaurants on the island, appointments at the exclusive spa she'd always dreamed about. You wanted a surprise? My laugh was hollow. I bought us that house in the Maldives you've been dreaming of. But I'm canceling our tickets to the Maldives. And you'll be alone. Without him. Tom from IT projected a new email chain onto the wall, messages between Katia and James planning their own trip to the Maldives, using money they'd stolen from me. Katia. Once we get his investment, we can buy that villa I've always wanted. James. The one you keep showing him? Perfect cover story. He'll never suspect. The thing is, Claire interjected, standing up with her own documents. James already tried to buy that villa, last week, with company funds. She turned to Katia. He was planning to take someone else there. Not you. Sarah from accounting pulled up more financial records. He's been courting at least 3 other women with promises of tropical getaways, all funded by fraud. The hotel manager added his own revelation. He's made multiple reservations at our property under different names. None with you, Miss Katia. Angela stepped forward, her voice thick with disgust. Remember when you told me you and James were soulmates? That you'd found true love? Show her the dating app, Tom. Tom projected James's active dating profile, updated just hours ago. Successful executive seeking adventure. Recently single. Ready to spoil the right woman with exotic travels. Katia's phone buzzed again. Another message from James, but this time Tom intercepted it on the screen for everyone to see. Everything's gone wrong. Don't contact me again. I'm leaving the country tonight. He's not just leaving, I said softly. He's already gone. That bank footage we mentioned? He cleared out your secret accounts an hour ago. Even sold those diamonds he bought you. The stream viewers watched as Katia's face transformed from sorrow to horror as she checked her banking apps. Every account she'd hidden, every secret investment, every backup plan, all empty. But the villa, I continued, gathering up the photos and documents, that's already been transferred to a different owner. Would you like to know who? I nodded to Claire, who stood with quiet dignity. Consider it part of my divorce settlement, she said. My children and I will enjoy making new memories there. Better ones. As for you, I pushed a final folder across the table. You might want to start looking for a good lawyer. The FBI is particularly interested in those offshore accounts you set up.